What is up, YouTube? This is Mr. King coming at you live. So today's lesson is going to be a little bit shorter. We're just going to be reading an article, answering some questions, and then doing a survey for progress reports. Okay, so today's lesson is all about DNA, and you're going to learn how deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA for short, is the genetic material and determines our traits by making proteins. So what it does, so DNA is genetic material, and that will be converted to mRNA, or messenger RNA, which is essentially like a temporary DNA, and then the mRNA will be converted into proteins. So that process, DNA to mRNA to protein, is known as a central dogma of molecular biology. I know you're thinking like dogma, that doesn't make sense. Like dog isn't the word. Dogma just means it's like a concept, and then central is important. So central dogma means like it's a essential system for biology. Okay, so what you need to know, this is about how DNA is stuck inside the nucleus. It's nice and stable there. So what the cell needs to do, the nucleus is like kind of like a storage unit or the library. It contains all the genetic info. And what the cell needs to do, it needs to get that DNA out. It needs to get all that information out of the nucleus so the rest of the cell can use it. So how it does that, this a few enzymes or proteins will convert DNA into something called mRNA, or messenger RNA. So DNA looks like this. It's a double helix, and then it'll be converted into RNA, or mRNA. It's basically half of DNA. It's one strand, and it looks like this. And then that mRNA is free to move about the cell because it's less stable than DNA, so it can move freely, and it's breaking down a little faster. So then that mRNA will be converted into a protein in the ribosome. So that's the process that is essential dogma. And then you're going to be answering the 5 questions that I highlighted here. And then at the end, you're going to read about this scientist's rules that he discovered a long time ago about DNA. And the main takeaway will come up later. So that's all you're doing today. You're reading this article, answering the questions, and then here's a grade reflection. I really just want to check in. I want you to know that you can turn stuff in again if you look at my comments and do better. I'm also curious how long assignments are taking you. That's really important to me. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you for staying with me this time. As always, I like to include a fun fact at the end of each video. Fun fact, so Steve Jobs is one of the founders of Apple. He died around a decade ago, and my fun fact is he is known as one of the greatest speakers of all time. He's super charismatic, and people really revere him as one of the greatest speakers of our generation. But interestingly, he wasn't always good. He used to be really awkward on TV in the 70s, and it wasn't until he practiced and practiced and practiced that he got a lot better at presenting. So the takeaway is, I know a lot of you don't like presenting or being up in front of the class, but if it just takes practice, if you put the work in, then you can be great, just like Steve Jobs was. Okay, thank you so much. I will see you in the next video. Peace.